guys know, I know you guys were checking shoes last night to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Aslı.
Boy, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh! You wanna get sued?
Judgment, Aslı.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a running.
Sorry for what?
But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love it when he does that.
Let's watch.
Don't get me back to good bullshit.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. And it's so good to see you guys. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, says Andrea. Good to see you, Andrea. And Daisy Duke, thank you for hitting the like button, guys. You guys are awesome. Hey, Lisa King. I also saw Laura. Laura says that I think that they turned Sebastian's bedroom into a reptile room. You know, it makes me wonder. I mean, they take a lot of space up. I did see your comment during the intro, and I am wondering about that. Now, they do have the bonus room above the garage, but it doesn't look like they've used that for too much. Yeah, that's a great point. They really very well could have. There's no telling. I mean, they wouldn't even allow America's Most Wanted to see his bedroom, and that's the last place he was by all accounts. Good to see you, Laura. And then also Denise Harris. Good to see you, Denise. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Mimi Ma. Good to see you. And Chuchi says, United we stand. I will not be silenced for my opinion. Hashtag freedom of speech. Yeah, Chuchi, we're definitely going to talk about the update today. They found the shooter, which I was like, oh, wow. I was pretty much dead to the world until about maybe a half hour ago. So I was on really really late, but I needed to get some good Z's in, and I just wanted to come live and talk about that because I also saw another update about Adam Montgomery getting another, while he appealed and he wants a new murder trial. Still doesn't want to tell us where Harmony is, but he wants a new murder trial. So we're going to talk about that dirtbag for a little while at least. Sandy, good to see you. Lady, did you see my message? Oh, no, Mimi Ma, I did not. I checked a couple of emails last night and I sent a link over to someone that I had promised I would. And then I watched a YouTube video and crashed out. So, hey Valley Gal, I was sleeping. You know what I mean? A lot of times I don't sleep well, but I caught some sleep yesterday, or today rather. But hey, Denise Harris says, Chuchi, that's the truth. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Andrea says hello from Canada. Hashtag freedom of speech. It's so important, guys, for us to be able to say what we want to say, right? I mean, it doesn't matter if somebody doesn't like it; they can cover their ears, right? And I do love being American for that freedom that we have, right? So thank you guys from Canada. Our friend MMO Tarot, that's the channel name, but Leanne is her name, and she's just awesome. And she was cracking me up yesterday because she was very passionate about, that very thing, and then different silly things that is politic driven. And really, it's the reason I say it's silly is because of the actions of others. If I feel like a cat today, I can't just get up here and meow at you guys. You guys will have no idea what I'm saying. I'll know what I'm saying, but you guys won't know what I'm saying, right? So but I don't know, I heard there was a lot of that going on. And she wasn't happy about it, and neither was I. I don't like to hear that. I think kids should go to school, get an education, be realistic. We should be teaching children about finances and about how to take care of themselves, how to invest their money, how to, back in the day, it was balance a checkbook, right? We learned that in economics. Or your parents taught you before that. They get you a bank account, and that's how you learn. And that way you spend your own money and you realize that, like, money's not unlimited. You have to work for it, different things. So really important values that we're losing out on. And I think Charlie, if I'm not mistaken, has said some things that were off color, but also said a lot of good stuff, right? I had a lot of positive comments about Charlie. I myself am not as familiar with his speeches or his podcasts and things like that, and I might familiarize myself with that after this. I will say I used to be very much into politics, right? Hey, Andrea with the green hearts, thank you. Snuggle, snuggle, tromping away. Uh, Good to see you, Don Emery. But I began to kind of pull away from it because I enjoyed true crime too much. So, I mean, I've been really deep diving into true crime, more so than politics, but a lot of it goes hand in hand, right? I mean, our friend Joe was giving me a hard time the other day because yesterday because I wrote to Cash Patel. He's like, if he ever writes you back, and I'm like, oh, hard if, and I'm a little ticked that he hasn't at least told me he received my message, or anything like that. So um it goes hand in hand. These are the powers that be. They run the show. Hey Gina, thank you so much. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. I rock out with that part all the time. I'm just gracious enough that they let me, mash it up and use it. Hey, Deanna. Hey, Chi says, I know that drives me nuts. Not okay. Yeah. And, it's crazy because, someone lost their life over just talking, and he's a young guy, 31 years old, has a beautiful, had a beautiful wife, two little kids, right? Like 3 and 18, or excuse me, the little girl is 3 and the little boy was 18 months old, right? So just so sad. And Andrea says she's got an update about her daughter's cancer. She had surgery a few weeks ago and had a complete scan and checkup at the cancer clinic, and she's cancer free. Oh my gosh, God is so good. That is fantastic, Andrea. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Those are messages and stories of hope. I know a lot of times we don't hear that. That is so. See, you're gonna make me cry with that. I'm a big supporter of fuck cancer. You guys know, I've talked about a little bit here on the show. My mom passed away from cancer in '06. And, I've known a lot of really good people that have battled with it. Even my good friend that I look up to as a mom in Missouri, she had breast cancer. And guys, she kicked its ass. Like, I don't even know. It was the weirdest thing because it was just like, I'd be checking on her. I'm fine. I'm like, are you sure? Yep, I'm fine. And she got it taken care of. Thank God. But then at the beginning of this year, we found out that um, our little 2-year-old, right? It's my best friend's granddaughter has cancer, a rare form of leukemia. And I don't know, it just hits different when it's a kid, right? Especially when she's 2 years old. It's just awful. So, so, so very awful. Thank you, Lisa King, for the green hearts. Yes, wonderful news, wonderful news. Hey, Sammy. Oh, no, Sammy, I'm sorry. I know. And I was like, I just decided I'm like, I gotta wake up and go live because I figured I would take tonight off because I have to do some grocery shopping and things like that later on tonight. So I figured I'd just fire up a quick live and we go on here and you guys can, drink some coffee with me, even though it's, for most of y'all, you're probably getting off of work just now. Sammy says, oh, sorry, I read that, Sammy. Hey, Panda Bear's mom, good to see you. Dawn Emery, so good to see you. And Kitty Catty, hey, Kitty Catty. And we also have Narita. Thank you for hitting the like button, Narita. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom. Hey, boy, all the news from this week has me so emotional today. I know. It's been a week again, right? It just seems like the news cycle doesn't stop. And, you know, one of my mods had sent me a message today. I said, did they catch him? And she said, yeah, they did. So I'm like, oh, great. Oh, Adam Montgomery is a pig with a capital P and I and a G, right? Oh, he is. That's what got me emotional today. Because I get to the point where I just think, you know what, Michaela, you could have taken the punches for those kids, and got the babies out of there, right? Because she had her 2 babies there too. The little boys were in the back seat with Harmony, witnessing all of this. Ooh, barbecue and steak. Ooh, that sounds so good. He deserves nothing. Where's Harmony? That's what I want to know, Lisa. That's my big thing. Where is she? Quit being a jerk, and it's beyond a jerk to, you know, keep her whereabouts a secret. He's torturing her mother, by the way. Crystal Sorry, in my opinion, wasn't the picture of a perfect mother. No one is, but she also um, made it a point to make sure that her kids were taken care of, right? And she had there was 2 men, a couple, that was taking care of Harmony's little brother Jameson, and they wanted to take Harmony too. They would have taken her, and arguably they would have had a much better life, right? Yeah, we got to be respectful, right, Andrea? And that's the biggest thing too. I really do believe in free speech, and I believe in people being able to kind of, speak their mind without, being judged really harshly. Look, we all have brains, that work, right? And that's a good thing. We don't want to tell people, well, you're stupid, you don't know what you mean, especially uh, when it comes to some of these cases, because we don't have all the information, and police do keep a lot of it close to the vest. You know, I know. I'm the same way, Mimi Ma. I'm like that too. And they're like, well, because we're gonna watch a clip from Court TV, but they're like, let's go over and look at Michaela, or no, so her name's Kayla. Sorry, Kayla Montgomery. Um, and I'm like, why didn't you just take the punches for her? You know, why did you let her get beat to death like that? Like, I just can't stand looking at that girl either. And I don't mean any hate or whatever. But she's out too. She rolled on Adam, and now she's out. Chi says, I'll bring a charcuterie board. I love charcuterie boards. Those are so fun. I love doing that for my daughter when she comes over. Oh no, you pinched a nerve. Oh no. Oh, isn't it so weird, Denise, how that affects different parts? Oh my gosh. Oh no. Aw. That is so weird whenever you have like an injury one place, it can affect somewhere else on your body. Hey, Kimberly. I hope you feel better soon, Denise. My goodness. Hey, Tony Fire. Good to see you. Hello, my friend. Cindy Police. Good to see you. Thank you for the green hearts. And Kitty Catty, thanks for the green and blue hearts. Well, everyone, I'm off to my son's baseball game. Oh, good. I hope he has a great baseball game. Play ball. Don't get me started on my Harry Carey impressions. They're really, really bad. Really, really bad. So, holy cow. Um, Town Chat Cafe says, Lady and Mods in Chat, I'm just getting to my desk. Perfect timing. Glad to see everyone. Oh, good, Town Chat. I was going to send you a message to let you know that I was going live, and I just hurried up and I was like, I might as well just go on. I had 10 minutes. Um, yes, I'm good. I'm good, John. I'm very good. Just kind of keeping up with all of these updates. And I enjoyed going on the panel last night. But boy, I was wrecked after I got off of my live last night. I was completely wrecked. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, I am so tired. So I got a lot of sleep. I feel really good. I got to get some things in order for the week. That's why I don't do day shows too on the weekend. You won't probably see me doing a lot of those. Sometimes on Sunday, or excuse me, Saturday morning maybe, or afternoon. But typically we do the late show on the weekend. Because I just have so much stuff I have to catch up on by the time the weekend comes. Um, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, I wasn't familiar with him either, but found out he was one person my husband frequently watched and kept up with. My heart breaks for his wife and children. Yeah, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom, that's one thing I do think is such a positive about Charlie, is because I heard a lot of men that were coming out and they're like, I listened to him and I really value what he says, and the values that he talks about are all positive values for men to be listening to, right? Because there's a lot of places out there that men can go. And guys, Tony Fire, forgive me and correct me. I know I'm not a guy, so I don't have the best frame of reference. But there's many places that guys can go and get negativity and chauvinistic male piggery, and stuff like that, right? So it's really nice to hear that they're following after a family man, right? Somebody that at least tries to instill some values. Guys, I understand none of us are perfect. We could get up on our soapbox up here, and then we could go to the store and ram an old lady with our shopping cart, right? I mean, it's just the reality of the situation. But this guy really seems like he was trying to put out a positive message. Another person that I really like is Jordan Peterson. He always has a really great message of values and about how men should be out there, being respectful towards women, being protectors towards women. I'm old school, guys. I really am. I can't help it. I was raised that way, and a man should be protecting. You shouldn't be hiding, like a little biatch, right? Right? And it's just that's the way it is. If somebody's hurting your family or your friends or your girlfriend, whatever, there's no place for it. And other men shouldn't like that either. They should call you the P word for that, right? In my opinion. And I'm not a guy, I'm a lady. Um, Denise, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I am so sorry. Denise says my mom died from breast cancer. It's so sad, right? It's a horrible, horrible, horrible disease. I hate it. If I hate anything in this life, it's cancer. I fucking hate it. Sorry, but I do because it's just it takes a person and totally, wrecks them. Daisy Duke says, I've been in remission for 3 years. I had colon cancer. Yes, God is good. Daisy Duke, you kicked cancer's ass. I always say that to people that can do that. And we were talking about that too, and Leanne and Jen last night. I mean, all of a sudden everybody has cancer, right? It's like a rite of, part of life, a rite of passage. Oh, I kicked cancer's ass, and some people don't. Um, you know, I'm so sorry, Dawn. My dad had cancer and he's been dead for 2 years. My mom's cancer was way too far gone to find it. Um, she was misdiagnosed. So by the time she was diagnosed, it was like 2 years. That was it. Um, and it is. Yeah, she's only two, Andrea. She's so sweet, guys. She just got another bone marrow transplant, and they had to put a feeding tube because like chemo and the treatment of cancer is like horrible. It's not even like the disease that kicks your butt so bad. It's the medicines to try to kill it, right? Because what it's doing is it's trying to kill um the bad cells, right? But you're killing good cells too. And so a lot of the medications that are given now with leukemia, it's different because it's a blood disorder, it's a blood disease, excuse me. Hey Pebbles, good to see you. And so in that regard, hey Elaine, um, it's even harder to do it, right? Because your blood is made up of platelets and different things. I'm not gonna do a whole science deal on it, but yeah, that's Aaliyah. She's so cute, isn't she? I don't want to put any pictures of her up here without any hair, um, just because that's kind of a trigger for me. And stuff like that. Hello. Hey, Eric with an H says, hello, my peeps of the Dragon Tribe. Today, today where Lady Freedom's leading the way on her dragon coming in. I can't even read Eric. Oh my goodness. Coming in for an authoritative landing. I'll tell you, I do get motivated by the Dragon Mama, Eric. That's too funny. Yes, I did. Paid Bear's mom. I did get Devlin's flyer, guys. Devlin is still missing from Odessa, Michigan, and I need to post it on my community wall, or the posts, right? And I always post stuff over there, or I might like find something and share it over there. So always look. But thank you so much, Panda Bear's mom. I've just been crazy busy lately. It has been one heck of a week. So I'm hoping to get a little bit more mild time. Guys, I'm still working on that letter. Crime Time Buzz told me she would help me with her teacher skills and get us, up to par on how to. Oh, I love you too, Denise. Get us up to speed on how to address the letters properly, especially when we're addressing the president, right? I want to make sure that we're professional about it. And so she was kind enough to offer me, if I go ahead and write it out, that I send it to her and she'll do like a template and show us how to be proper, prim and proper, because we do want to do that. Oh, great, Eric. Thank you so much for being here. Say hi to April. Oh, Lord. Um, yeah, well, and oh, updating the app is a good idea. And I also wanted to tell you guys too, Voices of Truth are going to be here. Going to be on tonight. I believe it's 8, but let me look and see. Let me double check. Because I did share that and I wanted to drop the link here. Because our friend Trent is going to be on too. They have a special guest. I am so excited, and that's another reason I didn't want to have to, load up with another live tonight. Unless I'm compelled, but I don't think I will be. I think I'm just gonna take it easy. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Perfect. If you guys have not, get those notifications going for our friends there. And I'm excited. Voices of Truth always has a very nice message, guys. They're really smart. I just love, love, love them. And just going into the chat, we see all of our friends, and it's just so great. Hey, Jen, speaking of our friends, good to see you. Good to see you, Jen. Yeah, so Jen, I was gonna do the update today. But yeah, guys, that's our little Leah. Definitely say prayers for her. She's a sweetheart, guys. She's always smiling like that. Always. That smile is always brightening everybody's day. So, here we've been watched by this in the email I sent you what I meant. Oh, let me see if I have it, Mimi Ma. Let me look. But while I do that, let me go ahead and put on all right, this one says we got him. I hope I don't get dinged for this. This is the thing that I don't like about sharing like straight from like streaming, but hold on, let me see what I can do about that. I think I need to do just like a watermark thing over it, and maybe that'll help. Let's do this. I hope you guys are all having a great day today, though. I hope you guys have fun stuff planned tonight. Um, I'm sure there's sports stuff and all kinds of stuff. All right, this looks like a presser that they held last night. We watched the presser over on Leanne's, and I was like, okay. Hey, Poppy Love, good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, town chat. You know what? Would you share Devlin Tate his flyer? If you pull it off of mine, we can, you can share it on your channel too, pretty please. Um, that would be really nice. Uh-oh, you guys are watching wrestling tonight, Andrea? That's cool. That's cool. All right. I don't even know who the wrestlers are. I used to watch it with my dad and brother, like back in the day, right? You had like all of the crazy guys, right? Like Hulk and all those guys, Andre the Giant and all those guys. Um, Nowadays I'm not so familiar. Ooh, sitting outside the fire pit eating burgers. Now that is my thing right there. That's like so much fun. Yeah, the one Panda Bear's mom made. For Devlin Tate. He's missing from Odessa, Michigan. You got another we have another fan in here. One thing too, you guys probably don't really know about me. I'm a huge Cubs fan, right? Like I know you guys can boo me in the chat if you want to. We're used to it. Um, I love the Chicago Cubs, right? But we also have the White Sox too. So like you'll have like, the rivalries and everything like that. My family is Southsiders. So they always was like, why are you a Cubs fan? And I always caught hell for it from a lot of my friends. So but yeah, I love healthy rivalries are my thing. And guys, this is another thing that goes back to this freedom of speech stuff, right? This little thing we call freedom of speech. Because at the end of the day, we should all be able to agree to disagree or just disagree and know, adios. We don't need to see each other. We don't need to talk to each other. We don't need to be around each other, right? We find our people, we find our tribe, we find who we like to, who we vibe with, like completely. That's everybody. If you don't have a good feeling about someone, then you typically will stay away from them. But these days people are like, oh, I hate that person so much, I'm going to go off them. And it's like, what are you doing in your life that, it's just so weird. It's so weird. Are you a Red Sox fan? Mimi Ma says I'm a Red Sox fan. Ah, that's funny. Yeah, don't make any I don't make fun of anybody except for the Yankees. See, you know exactly what I'm talking about right there. Oh, that's funny. I always thought Babe Ruth was cool. I mean, of course, because I grew up with that movie, The Sandlot. So, the great Bambino, you know. So, yeah, I'm praying for Jack and Lily's case to get solved too, Andrea. Yeah, that's another case that's so weird, right? We typically don't see two kids go poof at the same time, right? Could you imagine? Could you imagine like abducting two little children like that, especially with Lily's scream? Oh hell no! Something had to. That was an inside. That was an inside job, just like with Sebastian. And I'm sorry. I know that's allegedly in my opinion, but that's what I think. I really do think that. I think it's an inside job. Imagine picking up Lily and Jack. The only way you would be able to pull that off, right? Or maybe one of the only ways. I could think of a couple, I guess. It's terrible to think of how you would abduct a child or two, but you might pick them up and eat the two of them up like in a bear hug, right? But you got one in one arm and the one in the other arm, and you're running to them, and then you're putting them in a vehicle and you're driving them off, right? But imagine this: Lily screaming her little head off like she does. I don't think so. I've babysat for a lot of kids. I might only be a mom to one, but I've babysat taking care of a lot of kids. Their mannerisms matter. If they're a screamer, they're a screamer. Okay. That's part of their personality. And you can't tell me that Lily wouldn't have been screaming knowing that her little brother got picked up. And I'm also a big sister, right? And if somebody picked me and my brother up, I would be fighting, screaming, biting, telling my brother, bite him, kick him, if I had to, like, right? If maybe because we don't know what we do when we're in a stressful situation. So there's fight, flight, freeze, appease. So, he might be so scared he's afraid to fight back. Well, I would have been telling him, kick, scream, punch, bite, whatever we got to do. Guys, they didn't just get abducted in front of their house, in my opinion. Not the one that says April 23rd. I didn't make that one. The one I sent lady, I got that one from the website. No worries. It's okay. I will still share it, even if you didn't make it yourself, Panda Bear. I mean, honey, I do that all the time. I'll pull one from I like to share from Arctic Fox. I like to share from because he's always putting new ones up. Bob, I like I like Bob, whatever sparks your interest, I think is his channel. And I share from Bob, and then I also share from Smiley a lot. She puts up a lot. Justin puts up a lot. Trying to think of like the main people I share from on new missing posters. I'm also linked up to a website where they'll send them to me, and I can't remember which one it is, but it's through Facebook, and they post new ones all the time, and you just grab them from there. We got to share, share, share. Well, that's great. Count says you're gonna make. I'm gonna make a video for Devlin and Jonathan. Is that Jonathan Honig? Honig? I don't know if I say it right ever. I'm so sorry. Like I did for Sebastian, and I also need to put up Sebastian's flyer and put the FBI number on there. Yeah. I am going to do a live about Devlin and Jonathan. If it's the same Jonathan I'm thinking of, because one of our friends had asked me to do that. And I said, and I got the email late, and I said, is he still missing? And she said, yeah, he is. So we're going to plan for something like that too. And I also got a live planned with Jen, me and Jen up here. And it should be a fun one, but I still want to plan it out with her. And then as soon as we get this footage, guys, I want to have a panel of a couple of different guests that I've already kind of booked for the show, asked them if they'd be willing to do it. And they said, yes, when, and then I got scared and ran away because I was like, I don't know. But we got that in the works as well. So just a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, anytime you see a flyer, share it up, share it. That's all we can do. and pray, and then spread awareness and talk about it. Valley Gale says Giants fan here, but my 26-year-old requested a Cubs foam finger when he was 8. Still has it. Aw, that's awesome. Guys, if you've ever been to a Cubs game, ooh, and especially when Harry Carey, was the announcer. I mean, it's a whole vibe. It's a whole vibe. Thank you. Hong. Ah, oh boy, I'm gonna have to get a pronunciation helper with that one. Um, they've been taking down signs and flyers. In my opinion, Ellie wants us to disappear. Really, Panda Bear's mom? They've been taking his flyers down? I've not heard of something like that until Sebastian's case. Wow. I don't blame you, honey. Do you live in the area? She says, not on my watch. No, we can't let that happen, guys. What if it was one of our kids or what if it was us? Just think of it, Even if you're a single person, don't have anybody in the world, what if you went missing and nobody wanted to look for you? That's it's terrible. And then law enforcement, it's scary. Guys, I have kids, people's kids, that the moms and stuff will say my son or, even my grandson, my granddaughter is still wondering, have they found Sebastian? You got to think of how these little kids think of it. Hey, Leslie, keeping it real. I was one of those kids that would watch true crime stuff, and it scared the living crap out of me knowing that these, especially when it was another kid. But I mean, even watching like unsolved mysteries, and that there's some creepy guy out there that took a lady, and all of this, right? These mysteries are scary, and if the kids think about it, like they probably think of, and because they internalize everything, they're probably thinking, what if that was me? You know? Let's see. Another one wonderful secret. Hi, good to see you. Says the suspect isn't a Democrat. He's a NRA, right? National Rifle Association, guys. Enthusiast with conservative parents. What will MAGA do now with the anger and violent Civil War fantasies they conjured up? Who will they take it out on? Check mark. You know, I don't like radicalism, radical ideals from either side. I really don't. I'll tell you what. I am pretty well in the middle of things, right? And that doesn't put me into like, the different categories like as an independent or anything like that. I am conservative, but I have some liberal views as well. I believe people should be people. I believe guns hurt people. Excuse me. I believe that people with guns hurt people. That guns can't hurt a person, right? If it's just sitting there, right, wherever it is, it takes a human being to pick that gun up and shoot it, right? And we're all just people. We're all just trying to survive. And if I learned anything from Charlie's story, it's that life is way too short. And you could just be going about your day and some lunatic could come along and take your life away from you and your children. And to me, that's the important message to look at here. That's what's important. Hey, Alicia Hot Wheels. Hello, beautiful lady. I hope everyone is safe and blessed weekend. Bring U.S. Marshals or hashtag bring U.S. Marshals, Sebastian, Wayne, Drake, Rogers. Yeah, we need to get the ball rolling in Sebastian's case, guys. Whatever we need to do, we're going to keep talking about it. We're going to keep talking about it. Hey, Ida Anthony, good to see you. Gina, I saw a photo of him with a disgusting Trump head. He was still on actually his Halloween costume, in my opinion. Ugh. There's going to be a lot of pictures coming out, guys. A lot of updates coming out. Look, and again, the propaganda, the rhetoric is not healthy for either side. The hate is not healthy for either side. Guys, we need to love each other more. That's the answer, right? And I'm not a hippie. Kathy Barlow, Kathy Bartholomew, good to see you. Sorry, I don't know why I just made myself laugh at that. It tickled me, but I'm not. I'm not a hippie. I love trees, but it's just like we need to stop. If you don't want someone speaking that you don't like, why would you attend the rally in the first place? Just to piss yourself off for the day? Get a good cup of piss in you before you start your day? Come on. It's the same reason I don't watch people I don't agree with on YouTube. Like, seriously don't agree with, right? The ones I do not like, right? But does that mean I'm going to go shoot them or show up at their house? Hell to the nah, nah, nah. You need to get your head checked if you're doing some shit like that. If it even crosses your mind, you know? And the people that do that don't think that somebody couldn't show up on your door, right? I mean, it's just like, you start putting positive out in the world, you get positive back, and then life kicks you in the ass. And it's going to happen, right? You might find out that you got cancer. You might find out that your kids have it. You might find out, um, that somebody passed away, your good friend. You just, we're not promised the next day, guys. We're not promised the next hour or minute, right? I heard a story one time. Somebody banged their leg on their coffee table, and then the next thing you know, they have a freaking brain aneurysm because they had a blood clot, and they died, and they were a young person, right? We're not promised anything. So, thank you. Lisa says, Town Chat, I pray Jonathan is found. Yeah, it sounds like you guys are very interested in that case, and I need to very much get into it, and we'll do a live. I'm so sick of the propaganda, and I am an old hippie. Leslie keeping it real says, I am an old hippie. Well, I guess I might have a little bit of a spirit heart like that. I probably should have grew up in the 60s or 70s, but I didn't. But I've always thought the culture was really cool, and I do think that we should choose love and peace over war, devastation, destruction, death. It is. It's something that we need to be more aware of. I did work at a metal bar. Eric, it's funny because I like all genres of music. Like, I really do. So, but, I still wear my bell bottoms and stuff, and, or I guess they call them flares. But I'm just me. And I do. I look at things, from a perspective of we're all just people, right? And we're passionate about views, right? And that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with being passionate about our views and fighting for what's right, and doing it in a nice, peaceful way. I mean, even when Seth was out there demonstrating, I thought that was a great example of people um, peacefully demonstrating. It wasn't like Seth was breaking into people's cars and looting TVs and stuff like that, right? I don't agree with that kind of stuff. I just don't. I don't think it's okay, but I do agree with our Constitution and us being able to stand up, take a stand for what we believe in. And I would applaud anybody that does that. Leslie, thank you for the peace signs, you know. But yeah, we can, and like I was saying yesterday, I think that if this young man was so upset about what Charlie was saying, why didn't he get up there? They give people um the platform, like, to get up there and speak with him, and he speaks back with them. So I don't understand why that young man didn't get up there and say, this is what I'm this is what I'm upset with what you say, Charlie. I don't agree with you because of this. And that would make you feel so much better. And who knows, maybe you might walk away from that a little more pissed, or maybe you'll walk away from it less pissed, and maybe you might like Charlie or respect him a little bit more. But if we never give ourselves or the other person the opportunity for that, then we're shooting ourselves in the foot. And look at this guy. He just ruined his whole life. Ruined his whole life over hate because he couldn't get his hate in check. Astrology for Mystics with Jen says, Denise, good for you. Oh, Denise says, I'm 61, 125 pounds and carry a 9mm on my hip, a 380 in my purse. Yes. I mean, I don't blame you one bit. I don't. especially us women, we need to protect ourselves. I mean, men too. Help me out, Eric, with an H, and Tony Fire if I'm wrong. But seriously, we do. We need to protect ourselves because there are some people out there that are just off their rockers. Okay, guys, so let's listen to this little update we have now. Jen, you guys got me cracking up over here. Here we go.
On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident.
Okay, guys, so we do have this person, and I don't know why this is so low. It's very low, so hopefully if you guys could have to turn it up all the way or adjust the volume. But Tyler Robinson, apparently he spilled the beans on himself, right? So we have someone who actually has a conscience. Holy hell in a handbasket. Thanks, Eric. I try not to speak for the guys because I feel bad. I'm like, I'm a girl, I don't know. But yeah, so we got this Tyler Robinson, right? And so he has a conscience and he goes and he tells on himself, which, at least he did that much. He was feeling bad, right? Or he was feeling the heat. He was feeling the pressure.
This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University.
And the people did the right thing and they said he told us this, and they turned him in, it sounds like, based on what they're saying here.
This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m.
Wow, so he arrived at the campus 8:29 a.m. that morning in a Dodge Challenger, right? And he was caught, everything was caught on video. I mean, we watch him scaling up, right? The walls of the building to get it to the roof to, set himself up in sniper mode.
On September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images.
Okay, guys, now there was a difference in the clothing, right? When we were looking at the pictures, and in one he was wearing one type of a logo on the shirt, the other one there was another logo on the shirt. So it was a little bit confusing, but now it looks to me like he has changed his clothes. Yes, Daisy Duke. We love Jen for that, for being with Seth during that time. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yes, and for Jeff being out there. Jen, oh my gosh. I was so happy to see Jeff out there, and then you guys teasing him about being on the street corner. I was dying laughing about that. That was too funny, but so sweet. You guys are the best. I mean, we need to support each other, guys. We need to stand with each other. That's why it's so important for these upcoming events that we have to go out there and stand with Seth. We have to, and I hope to God Sebastian's found before we have to do it. But if that's the case, we're going to do it.
Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger.
Okay, guys, so just really quick, I want to pop back in here. Obviously, this is an account from a family member that was having a conversation with Tyler, and he had become radicalized, right? So we heard this in the shooting that happened with the young man who's 16 in Colorado. Radical viewpoints took him over, right? Look, guys, all of this rhetoric and propaganda is a hot mess. It is, and it does nothing for us, right? It does nothing for us. And instead of him going out and deciding, what Charlie's saying isn't right, or I don't agree with this, and trying to be an activist and stand up for what he believes in, he turns around and takes Charlie's life. And that's the total wrong thing to do. But here's the thing about when these young people are being radicalized, no one's there telling them positive ways of coping with this, right? It's all hate, hate, do this, do that. It's terrible. Oh, it's so scary. And it's both sides, Jen. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even the Proud Boys, lady, you have to come into contact with those who are radicalized. It's scary. It's a scary world. Absolutely. And, it is. It's terrible. And even on the other side of the aisle, right? Because, look, like if you have like someone who's a neo-Nazi, right, or something like that, those people are over radicalized. I've watched a lot of documentaries on a lot of this, right? A lot of different things. Um, and even when they interview people who are a part of the KKK, right? And I don't know, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying some of this stuff, um, but look, this is the world we live in, right? These are the groups that we have, that we live around, right? And, they're disenfranchised, right? A lot of them don't even really understand the cause fully. They're just a part of it, right? And they like to gather around with each other, and they like to, be in unity with each other, right? But the unity is hate. We can do good or we can do bad in life. We can bring about change and positivity, or we can bring about death, gloom, and destruction. You know, um, it's absolutely crazy. Um, yeah, Ye- yeah. Oh no, I know, Jen. Yeah. Well, and some of those big radicalized groups, and even on the other side, when it's, very people that are very far left, it's like, hey, 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 what I mean? Like, we don't like this person because of this, and blah blah blah. But when really, yeah, I know, Denise, I know. But really, when it comes down to it, they're not helping you out, and they're not going to be sitting in a cell with you. So even though you think you have this wonderful harmonious unity with your haters, with your hater friends, uh, if you go off and do something radical like this and take a man's life or take someone's life, or heaven forbid, guys, he could have shot a child. There were children at this event. There were innocent people at this event. And in my opinion, Charlie was an innocent person. He was in his own arena. He was speaking publicly to his own people who wanted to be there to listen to him, and his life was tragically stolen. Hey, YouTubers here, good to see you. Yeah, well, and I wonder about that too, Jen. And I'm going to give you a call later. You won't believe what happened last night. Um, but yeah, you have to watch for people, because people get radicalized by these ideals, and guess what? And Jen was calling the person like that gets radicalized, and put forth to do this nasty crap as a patsy, right? And that's kind of what we see happen, right? We see it in gang activity, right? Where you'll have disenfranchised youth, right? Maybe their parents don't want them around the house, and they just don't give a crap what they're doing, and they let them run the streets. Hey, Scranton Strangler, and so they're out there, and they're being influenced by these other people to do their dirty work for them, right? So they never get in trouble, but the little ones get in trouble. Well, what these criminals and these gang members started realizing was that these little children wouldn't get as much time, right, as they would. they would only have to go to juvie, or they might get a slap on the wrist. It's their first offense, whatever. And so they would enlist these little children to do their dirty shit for them, you know? And in my opinion, they're turning these little children into patsies, right? They're allowing for them to take the fall for their dirty shit that they're pulling, right? And so we see it all the time. Oh, I don't know who that is. Astrology for Mystics with Jen says Enrique Terrio was pardoned by Trump and ate at his club. Oh, at Mar-a-Lago. There we go. I think I said it right that time. They want us to think it's left and right, but they're all the same. I know, Jen. I agree with that too. I agree with that too. And what you were saying last night really resonated with me as well. Because, I'm about somebody that's, I'm about finding like the truth, right? Getting down to the nitty gritty. And so are you, Jen. And that's what it's about too. And they're pointing this hatred, right? And they're harnessing this hatred in these young people, right? Who have more energy than they do. As you get older, you're like, oh boy, I don't have as much energy. Here, let's enlist these young people. They got it, but it's so wrong. It's demented. It's honestly demented. And then they just sit back and watch the chaos unfold. You know, and I talked about it in Sebastian Rogers' case last night. I said, Chris and Katie are the ones that know what happened, right? Mainly Katie. And they sit there and they pit us all against each other, and then they just sit back and laugh. And then Chris goes off and dresses like Seth of all people. Don't even get me started on that psychology, guys. Because if Katie likes her current husband dressing like her ex-husband, that bitch is fucked up more than I could ever imagine or explain to any of you. Okay? We'll just put that out there. Cause that wouldn't be going on in my house. or anybody else's. Excuse me, or anybody else's house uh that my husband went to. It's unbelievable. The clemency orders were issued on January 20th, 2025, just hours after Trump's second inauguration. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that guy up. Oh, so he's a Proud Boy leader. Oh, gotcha, Jen. I know who the Proud Boys are. Oh yeah, girl, I know who they are. I didn't know who they are until, um, what was it, Kyle Rittenhouse's case. That's who I kind of familiarized myself with the Proud Boys. Probably wouldn't want to hang out with those guys. The sentences of 14 members on the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, I got familiar with them too, were commuted by Trump. Wow. That's crazy, Jen. That is crazy, girl. Wow. All about who you know. Kathy, Kathy Bartholomew says, in my opinion, bad people with bad or evil hearts intentions. Yeah, well, that's the thing too. But a lot of times I wonder about this, because then you hear about this, they were radicalized, right? You always hear that they were radicalized. Well, who radicalized them? Was it like a group of, Muslim extremists? Was it white boy extremists? Was it, you know, um, a gang, right? Because we have all kinds of gangs and they're all racially charged, right? And a lot of times people get into the gangs, just because of where they live, who their parents are, you know? Yeah. Yeah. No, I know, Jen. I'm very well aware. Yeah, I'm very well aware. It's like it's messed up, right? It is, Leslie. Well said. Took the words right out of my mouth. I couldn't even find words for it. Gavin McKine's groomed Tyler Robinson, in my opinion, based on my studies. Really? So he was the one. Gavin's a proud boy. Oh, wow. That is crazy. Charlie was catching on and grabbing the youth with great debates and truth. Oh my gosh. I need to go back and watch him more, Jen. You know, because I'm not as familiar with him. This poor kid. And I say a kid, he wasn't much, terribly younger, maybe a decade younger than me, give or take. But still, yeah, it's so sad. All right, guys, let's watch what they've come up with.
Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits.
All right, guys. So there we go. He changed outfits. There was talk of leaving, the firearm in the woods. So this was obviously very well planned out, very well thought out and premeditated. Um, it sounds like some co-conspirators, and then also, making jokes on Discord. We know there's a lot of hate that goes down on Get Discord. A lot of us know that anyway. Just from being on the YouTube streets, we've kind of picked up on a lot of that too, I think. I have, at least.
I know there's been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well. And I will share that with you now. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark-colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had
Oh, whoever called it was a bolt action rifle. I think that was Joe. Joe, where you at? You in here? Paging Joe. Joe to the front office. Hey, Holly S. Yeah, he carved messages on the bullets, Mima. I didn't know if he took a Sharpie and wrote on them, but when they recovered the rifle, there was writing on it as well as the bullets, according to the New York Post. So, oh no, Denise, do voice to text so you don't have to hurt your finger. Even though voice to text could be very frustrating if it changes the words. So, Joe was right. Holly, you were there, Joe was right. Joe's over there in the chat telling us. Well, he said he's in infantry. He said he was in infantry anyway. So we were like, well, if you were in infantry, let us know what you got. Don't hold out on us here. Because, guys, I've shot different guns, but I'll say that. But it was always at a target in a controlled environment, right? I would go to the range, things like that. So, it's never been something where, I just yeehaw, like yippee-ki-yay and get out there and do anything crazy, right? And I also am not like an enthusiast where I'm like, oh, let me see what kinds of, how many different guns can I shoot? I'm not that hardcore. Also, I don't hunt, either. Like Jen was saying last night, I'm not a hunter either, or a huntress, you know. Guys, I'm not going to sit out in the woods and get bugs, okay? Lady Freedom does not like bugs. And you guys saw me. If you guys were here last night when we were looking at the exotic pet show, every time they put a hairy spider on the screen, I had the heebie-jeebies. I started itching. Same goes for the scorpions and everything else, okay? So I'm not going to go out and catch ticks in the woods to shoot a poor baby deer or any deer. Any of them, even the big ones, are babies to me. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that, right? It's it's one of my big hypocritical ways about me is that I do eat meat, but I do not shoot animals. I mean, it's just, I know that's weird. And that is hypocritical. I understand it. Hey, Women's Warrior, thanks for hitting that like button. Um, Sandy. I'm hearing he became radical. Holly S says, how do these kids not know how bad they shamed their whole family and really the country, excuse me, when they do these things? Well, and Holly, I've heard, wink, wink, that, this is a retired sheriff or police officer's son that pulled this off. This Tyler, he is the son of an officer, which is a disgrace, right? And shameful. His poor family. I really do feel for them. God only knows. And look, maybe he was angry with his dad's political views. Maybe he was angry with any amount of things, right? And he just really wanted to rage against the machine, rage against the system. We've all felt that way at one time or another. I know I have. And so especially in these cases. But that doesn't mean you go out and get violent, because you could hurt yourself or someone else. Never tell a man they're right, Sandy. I watched Nancy Grace earlier with an army sharpshooter, and he said this guy had to practice for a long time. Yeah, Denise, that's a really good point. Someone else said that in the chat last night, and now I can't remember who it was. But she said, I wonder how long he was practicing for. Which, I mean, I wasn't thinking he was a pro, but I knew that wasn't the first time he ever shot that rifle, but that particular rifle. And also it looked so well planned that he knew what kind of distance he would have to make up for. Now, I heard at the beginning it was like 200 feet. I guess we kind of came to the conclusion that it was about 400, a little over 400 feet. You know, to make your mark, you would have to, I mean, it's aim small, miss small, right? So you're really just trying to hit that target. It really bugs me. I know, YouTuber, it's horrible what's happened, and it bugs me that they're taking the youth and twisting their minds around so bad, right? Radicalizing them in any way is really a horrible tactic. It's a deadly tactic. It's a life-ruining tactic. Because even now, this kid's spending the rest of his life in jail, and who knows, people were talking about they want to execute him. So I mean, look, we gotta simmer down and keep a level head about ourselves here. Holly S says, oh, that reminds me, another creator said today that they were at the reptile expo to get things to take care of Sebastian's reptile. Oh, that's still alive at the house. Not sure I believe that. Why would you have to go to the reptile expo for that? And you wouldn't spend $500 on shit. I mean, I get that this stuff's expensive. I think it's polishing turds, Holly S. I really do. We can polish them up. They're still a turd. Okay. That's not my thing. I learned that from my friend, polishing turds. But I mean, it is. You can make it look real pretty, but it's still a turd. MK Ultra, could it be possibly? You know, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I'm not sure about that. I haven't looked into that too far. I'm really hesitant to compare anyone to MLK, right? Martin Luther King Jr. Uh, I set up pics from the mom's Facebook. She posted when they took him off the college and dropped him off. Oh my gosh. And he had a roommate, and the roommate is the one, I guess, too, that alerted. Yeah, Kathy says I love target practice and try different things of bang bangs, and I like the old west types of bang bangs. Have you ever watched that little sharpshooter on here on YouTube, guys? He like pulls from the hip, and like he's like super. He's so fast you have to slow him down to even watch him shoot. It's so funny. He's a little man. He wears Western clothes, you know. Holly wonders that too, though. Women's. In my opinion, his mom seems like a helicopter mom. She posted way too much about him. Uh oh, Gina. See, and that could be a part of it. He could be pissed off at his parents, you know? Eric with the rebuttal to Mimi Ma. This is now. Oh, his daddy is not just an officer, but a minister raised conservative. Oh, Denise. Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, man. He did have a vest on too. I heard that. Yeah. Hey, Bliss Blessings. Good to see you. Yeah, college. Denise says college changed him. Hey, he could have gotten into like a really bad group, right? Or just, his ideas started to get, a little bit messed up there. That is very sad. That's a sad concept to think about if that's what happened. But I can see that pointing towards that direction. Maybe he's mad at his dad. Maybe he's mad at his mom. Maybe he's sick and tired of being, helicoptered, and I don't know. But what drives you to the point where you say, I'm going to harness all of my anger and hatred towards one person, Charlie Kirk, right? Lady Freedom, I was joking about you hating bugs. That's so funny. Oh my gosh, I know. And I'm like, oh, I do not like them. Like the minute I see them, I'm like, oh, especially like those big centipedes. Who would want one of those in their house? You know? But to each his own. Leslie, Texas Paul said it was how you shoot a deer. I don't know. Jeez Louise. I don't, well, people were talking about hunting a lot, BS alert. YouTuber calls BS alert, you know. Look, I'm a great shot, but not that good. I mean, I've never like laid on a rooftop either in a position of a sniper, Bliss blessings. I call bullshit with a little bowl and shit. Oh my goodness. Turd. They wanted to be seen together, and he didn't have a no pillow under that shirt. It was his belly. Standing the nerve, right? I'm like, you would have put a pillow under there, but you ain't got far to go there, buddy. There's women in Sebastian's case I feel have MK Ultra vibes. Cough, yeah. He ate a cough. Oh my goodness. Jen agrees. Okay, I got you, Holly. Now I see what it's like. I don't know if we should be doing that. I don't know if I could get down with that. Oh yes, hey, Lady Freedom, not MLK. MK Ultra. It's like brainwashing program is the best way to explain. Really? Oh, now I really need to check that out. We'll look at it here in a second. All right, let me Google it, y'all. I was like Martin Luther King Jr. Oh man, see what happens when I get really, really tired. Let's see. Okay, so is MK Ultra Project? Is that what I'm looking for? There's a movie, a program, a meaning. Maybe I should start there. Holly, I get you. Would think that I never thought of that until you have suggested it, but quite possible. Or she has been manipulated, gaslit, and scared, maybe. Oh, okay. So it's a whole, it is, that does sound like brainwashing women's warrior. Okay. I mean, I totally get that part. I just didn't hear this before, I guess. I saw people talking about an MK Ultra yesterday, and I did think they were like, you know how we say like Summer Wells 2.0? I think that's why I was putting that together like that. Um, Denise says Kirk didn't have a vest on. I didn't think he had one. I couldn't see one. But then again, like when they were showing pictures of the assailant, he had the backpack on, and in certain pictures, you couldn't tell he had a backpack because he was wearing a black shirt and he had a black backpack, so it just kind of, you know, blended in. Uh, Brenda Calvert, good to see you, says he was 22 years old. I would feel a smidge sorry for him if he was a teenager, but he was a man and should have been held accountable. Yeah, I agree. He needs to be held accountable for sure. Oh yes, I'm sorry. You guys got me tripping on this now. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh my gosh, Timu MK Ultra, aka Chris. Oh my god. The college you went to is very radical. It changes and targets kids like him. Oh, Bliss, thank you. Okay. So the college is very radical. That is so crazy. That is just crazy. You send your kids off to college and you think it's for higher education, and that is sad. The MK Ultra people always have the crazy eyes. I learned to give people the crazy eyes right back. Oh yes, it's like, oh, you think you got crazy eyes? Well, hold on, let me show you. It's like the Wayans brothers' dad. He was on Little Nicky, and when they're in Central Park, I think they were in Central Park. Um, he was like, "Oh, you got crazy eyes? I got crazy eyes too." That's hilarious. Bliss Blessing says the presser said that the family stated the suspect started showing signs of just pure hatred, and right towards Charlie Kirk. Yes, we were just watching like a little bit of that. Yes, Bliss. There needs to be more mental hospitals. I agree. And if you know that your friend is being radical with their ideas, or your family member or anybody, there should be places where we can turn to and say, like, my friend needs help, my son needs help. It would have been nice to let his parents know the state of mind he was in, because look, this is so unhealthy. Look at the tragedy. I wonder if there were any signs this young man showed before all this. Yeah, sounds like there was. Sounds like, when they would have political discussions, he would get radical, right? And I understand that. I've dealt with people who are like that, far right, and then I've also dealt with people who are far left like that. So I've seen it both. You know, I mean, I have some family members that are very far left. I mean, to the point of, you know, the cat stuff and everything we were talking about, right? Just that really crazy off the wall. I mean, you guys would hate me if I came up here and told you I feel like a cat today, and I just sat up here and meowed the whole time. I'd have nobody in the chat. You guys would never know what I was, saying. You couldn't understand me. I'd have a whole new following, I'm sure, in a day. Because up here we speak, you know, um, and we communicate. I mean, you're cutting off human interaction when you say, I feel like a cat and I'm going, and that's just an example. But I feel like a cat and I'm going to be a cat, and I'm not going to use the regular toilet like everybody. I need a cat box, and I mean, it's weird, okay? And you're isolating yourself from normal people when you do that, right? The same goes for when you over radicalize yourself you know, to the point of I hate everybody except for pure white people. Well, good luck trying to find a pure white person. You know, I mean, not to make it racially or anything, but I'm just saying I'm saying that when I think of very radical right people, I think of like KK, extra K, right? And then now I hear of MK Ultra, not to be confused with MLK. I didn't mean cool just to have a photo of the bullets. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think they have them somewhere. Yeah, he got hyper focused on Charlie. Exactly, Holly S. Yeah. And Kirk's own security was in on it if you haven't seen the video. Oh, really, Denise? See, that's what Jen was saying. She said, you know, don't think that this couldn't have been an inside job. Hello, Bliss. Good to see you. Or sorry, I did two with in a row here. I looked at Bliss Blessings and I saw Blessed. Good to see you, Blessed. Hello. And then Bliss Blessings. Oh boy, guys, I'm not batting 1,000 today. Says Denise, I haven't seen anything like that. That is devastating if true. Yeah, see, but Jen was talking about it last night. Yeah, that Kirk's own security was in on it. Yeah, that you could see it in the videos and stuff. Yeah, because it was just, I mean, it was kind of obvious that the security sucked really bad. And Leanne was saying the same thing. It's a big rabbit hole, and scary for sure. Lots of adults coming forward who have been MK Ultra as children have seen the Manchurian Candidate. Oh, or have I seen the Manchurian Candidate? I have. Okay. Should have been a huge red flag to the family, Leslie. I agree. I agree. Hey, Gigi, good to see you. It's so tragic. It's horrible. It's horrible. Tom Chat says, Lady Freedom, I am a grandma Texas meow me. see, see, somehow I know what you're saying though, Tom Chat. To my foster cat, so I do speak cat language. So I would definitely be one of your followers. Just kidding. Or just kidding, Catosaurus. Oh my gosh. Don't encourage me, Town Chat. Do not encourage me. It's very, yeah, it is. They were doing the they were literally doing hand signals. It's terrible. Yeah, yeah. Lady Freedom, I do too. I don't think it's a political issue, but pure hate. I agree with that, Bliss Blessings. That's where I come from. That's where I'm coming from on this too. Is like, it's beyond like any type of political affiliation or but they do align themselves with, like a radicalized viewpoint, right? Like if it's Muslim radical, Hamas or anything. I mean, anything can become radical. I mean, there's been times where, I've felt kind of radical about Sebastian's case, like they just need to solve it. And what are they doing? And you know what I mean? And it's like, but I have to take a step back and understand that, we're representing him. We want to represent him well, you know. Alias says foster cats in Texas. Me too, Town Chat. You guys are funny. Gina says that was his best friend behind him. In my opinion, don't believe it. In my opinion, yeah, okay. Oh, his best friend was standing behind him in there. That's interesting. Hey, Gabby Mist, good to see you. Oh, here, guys, I'm going to play this next clip really quick.
Had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices bulges, capital OWO, what's this?" ? Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" ! Catch! ! Up arrow symbol, right arrow and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, Oh, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow, Chow. And a third unfired casing read, if you read this, you are gay, LMAO.
Wow. So that's what the messages were on the ammunition, guys. And obviously, very immature in my opinion. It shows, I mean, the state of mind that the shooter was in my opinion.
We are indebted to law enforcement across the state who has worked seamlessly together, local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and our federal partners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We're grateful for everyone who worked together in such a short amount of time to find this person and to bring justice. I want to thank the public who has been so engaged, reviewing videos, helping us with sending in tips, and helping us get to this point. I want to thank the family members of Tyler Robinson who did the right thing in this case and were able to bring him into to law enforcement as well. I especially want to thank the family of Charlie Kirk, Erica, Charlie's parents, his children. I want us to be thinking of them as we bring justice in this case. They will be in.
Okay, guys. So yeah, I just want to second that too. I know here we've all been praying for Charlie since the minute we heard about it. Brenda was the one that let us know what was going on in the live, and and thank you so much for that, Brenda Calvert, because I was live when this happened. I didn't realize what was going on, and my heart goes out to Erica and her beautiful little babies and the family. And I'm praying for justice for Charlie. It needs to happen. Bliss really well said. Bliss says that I have a nephew who's trans and a niece who is in the LGBTQ community, and I always add LMNOP, right? But it doesn't mean I love them any less. The hate in this world is absolutely heartbreaking, and that's what it's all about. I mean, even if we don't understand, or even if we, you know, aren't in that community ourselves, that doesn't mean that it's a reason or an excuse or anything to hate anybody else. And you love people for who they are. You love people for who they are, and you help them to understand that they are loved and cared for, because look, this is a disenfranchised youth in my opinion, radicalized. We see it all the time with these kids, and it's sad. And he's taken out, kind of one of his own peers doing this. Because I agree, he's not a high schooler. He's a man. Um, Brenda says, I'm a dog person. If you start meowing, I'm out. I don't blame you, Brenda. Well, even if I was to come up here and just rough, 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 maybe I could talk like Scooby Doo, and you guys could, bear it and read between the lines. But allegedly, LE is supposed to identify numbers of Devlin's phone records 4.5 months ago. Oh, and still nothing. Where's the investigation, LE? Oh my gosh. And they do need to step up their game. They need to heighten security in some of these places too, I think. Holly S says, now that kid will probably get the death penalty. I truly think his parents were probably doing the best they could. I honestly do feel for mom and dad both. He didn't accomplish anything. I know. How horrible, Holly. And you think that they're going to school and they're doing good, Um Bliss Blessing says they're gonna eventually add the LMNOP. More probably they will add it eventually. That's too funny. Oh my goodness. So was the message on the gun pro-trans or anti-trans? Well, see, I don't know, because like obviously I know I was wondering that too, because the one message was like, you're gay if you're reading this, right? So like to me, he must have wanted to insult whoever was reading it and call them gay because he knew that they would be highly offended to be called gay, if that makes sense. Right? That's the way I'm looking at it for, just like off the cuff, but um YouTuber Brenda Calvert, that's rough. Oh my goodness. Town, yes. Do you go to the cat show in Houston ever? I got the last cat. Oh, there's a cat show. Oh Lord, I'd be there. And then I'd say, how does anybody pay $500 for an animal? And here I have a $500 freaking cat, you know? So, very immature because mommy coddled him. See, that's another thing, Denise. That's a good point. That doesn't help anybody out, does it? You know, holding people accountable is love too, I think it might have been anti-trans in my opinion too. Or it very well could have been pro. There's a picture of him on X guys where he does look like he's cross-dressing. A little quite convincingly, because even Jen was like, "Well, look at his legs; they kind of do look girly." And I'm like, "Oh hell!" Last night I'm like, "Well," because I was like, "The perp looks like he might be a male," and then I'm like, "Oh, but then he might look." I mean, it's so hard to tell from a picture, you know. Don't coddle your children; it ruins them. Denise says, "I agree. I agree." There's times for coddling and comfort, and then there's times when it's like, "Okay, buck up, buttercup." You know, My mom used to say, "Dry it up," because I'm sensitive, I cry easily, so she "Dry it up. Time to, get out there and, what's crying gonna do?" But it's good to cry sometimes too, you know? Okay. Ooh, I need to go look at the Facebook posts. I have 3 and are definitely telepathic communicators. Don't you? Sassy looks at the treats, looks at me at the treats, and they say, "Hey, we want treats." It's funny. I know that our animals have us trained. We think we train them, and they're like, think again. How the hell did mom not notice any signs if she was all in his business, right? My 9-year-old was looking up gang signs on Google, and we put him in counseling. Hell yes. I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing though. I think kids probably, especially nowadays, might need to just talk to someone, other than their parents and other than their peers, because look, their peers are like the worst advice we all been there. We had our one friend that we go to for advice, but their advice was like horrible and would usually backfire. And you're like, damn, but I really do like confiding in my friend. They're trustworthy and everything, but their advice is like, you know. It was said that the parents did not accept the 100K reward money. I would sure hope not. Oh my lord, no. No. If I did that, you know what? They should have done that and given it to Charlie's family. Not that it's any kind of constellation or anything, but no, consolation. I said that right the first time. But I mean, seriously. Ooh, 2 golden doodles? I can't not judge anyone for spending money on animals bliss. I said that the other day. I'm like, "How can they buy a $500 lizard?" Then I'm like, "Oh," and then Lori, I think it was Lori, was like, "Well, my schnauzer, it was 500." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's true." Like, little teacup baby dogs are so cute. I'm like, they are expensive. And then I thought about the Maine Coon cat because I know that one's not cheap. I have a friend who cuddles her idiot 42-year-olds. Denise, she literally pays all his bills. How freaking stupid. Well, look, what is he gonna do when she's not there to pay? That's what you got to think about with the kids is like, what about when we're not here? And if we coddle them their whole life, they might just become a clock tower shooter because they don't know how to handle going through hard times. They have no idea because we never let them feel any kind of discomfort or, you know, work things out for themselves. That, and that's my opinion. And I'm not saying, sink or swim, here, go, because there's extremes to it too. But you have to be like, hey, I'm always here for you, but you have to be independent. Now, like with my daughter, I don't know. I don't have any boys, but she was always very independent. Now there was things that she wanted me to do, of course. Mom, could you make me an iced coffee? Or mom, could you, and I'm talking when she was like 16, years old, and into the teenagers, years. But I never, never, never. Oh no, I didn't check it yet, Town Chat. I did it. But I never, never, never like made her feel like I was like she needed to depend on me completely, because even though I really love that feeling and I love being needed and wanted by her, um I just would never want her to, cuz and it maybe it was because I lost my mom when I was young, and I wasn't even that young, guys. I was in my early 20s, but it was young. I wasn't ready. I just wasn't ready to lose her. And she was like an awesome person in my life. And so um I just never wanted my daughter to feel like, so like she just like she needed me so bad. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to be here forever. Leslie says the dad must have had a moral dilemma turning in his son, but he did the right thing. Oh, totally, Leslie. Oh gosh, my heart goes out to that father. Could you imagine being, a parent and having to turn your child in? We all say that we would do it, but when we have to do it, oh my God, it would break my heart in two. I would hate having to do that, and I would actually probably make her turn herself in. No, so I didn't have to, but no, really, that's devastating, right? Quite the dilemma, quite the heartbreak. Yes, Leslie. Oh, okay. Oh, great. Nick's got him on Facebook. Cool. I'm gonna have to go over there. Thanks, Gina. Yeah, I mean, I understand them shutting it down, but look, I mean, look how many people they could help if if they did talks and stuff like that. They really could help a lot of people if they were willing to talk. I think Charlie Kirk reminded him of his dad, and how he preached to him maybe just a theory could have very well been Brenda. That's kind of where my mind goes, like in the psychological aspect. Was he angry with his father, right? Which is emotional and a personal um, hatred, right? That comes from, a place of hurt, right? Of your parent. And then it's misplaced anger on poor Charlie Kirk. I can see that. I can see that. Hey, Sandwich. How do you know he didn't mean sign language? Too funny. I don't, and I need to go back and rewatch that video. I do. I think kids on the spectrum are highly suggestible, and I think Gypsy Rose's boyfriend who unalived her mom. Yeah. Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. She, Holly showed me. Like, look, mom, what I wrote. Sign language. You guys. Bliss says, and they do the doggy daycare and spa every Thursday. Definitely no judgment here. Aw, that's cool though. Yeah. That's nice. I bet you they like that. Like Django loves the dog park. But there's like some really high-end dog parks around here. Like it's so funny. They have like a whole fountain and everything, and the dogs are all lap of luxury. I'm like, what? Yes, exactly. That is so cute. Sandwich says, well, he is upfront and honest, even better. OMG, that's so cute though. Mama in college effed him up, right, Denise? Yeah, or he's like mad at his dad. It could have been a lot of things, right? A lot of contributing factors. It would have to be to get to this level. Great. I was following Nick's stuff on X as well, Gina. I think I dated him, Denise. 100 coddling can create some Norman Bates. Yes, woman's warrior. If they have certain underlying traits to start with, it can warp them into not having consequences for actions, in my opinion. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. And Norman Bates, Norman Bates is a perfect example, like the perfect example, because I'm sure a lot of us in true crime also watch horror flicks. So, um, I'm on Facebook. Looks like he has younger siblings. Oh, that is so sad. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine? I mean, look at the devastation he's bringing, to all of everyone's houses. Gina did you hear there was a bomb threat? Oh, at their home about an hour ago, neighborhood had to be evacuated. No, I didn't hear that, Gina. Holy cow. See, guys, this is going too far. YouTuber says, wow, Gina. My gosh. Denise, 8 a.m., totally a hands-on mom. And my kids started doing their own laundry at 8 years old. Aw. I taught them to iron at 12, and they did 3 yard work and housework, and all three very mature. Praise. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I mean, you just have to teach them the life skills and stuff. Because if they have it too easy, it's going to be like a total shock for them when they have to actually do stuff, for themselves. But we want to. It's in our nature to nurture our children as mothers. That's how we feel. We want to nurture other little kids too. It's like it's just in us to do it. So it is. It's a hard thing, but you don't want to ruin them. A football player is paying for Charlie Kirk's kids to go to college when they're of age. I heard that, and I also saw a post from Elon Musk that is going to pay for whatever the children need. Like, he's got all that money. I'm like, holy cow. I know the money's the root of all evil, but I mean, I wish I had that much money. And if I did, I would do the same thing like he's doing, is spread it around, help people out. And I know that's not the best way to keep money, but, you know, Emma, the queen of all, she surveys, pause me. when she when she wants something, somehow I know exactly what she wants. Exactly, blessed. Emma, the queen of all. I love that. My heart breaks for anyone who's witnessed that live. They will be traumatized forever. So tragic. I have not watched it live. No, 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 no. I don't want to see it. It's like when I looked at Gypsy Rose Blanchard's mother, her crime scene photos. I wish I never would have looked at them. So many hurting hearts around the world, Bliss. I know. You don't like horror movies, Gabby? I do. I do. I like Bliss doesn't watch them either. I like all of this stuff, all of the horror genre. I'm not like into like the slasher movies really. I mean, to me those are just like in the gory stuff, but I like the ones that are like mysterious, scary, um more so. My dogs take turns, the cat's waking me up, nothing like a nose against yours to say good morning. Aw, Leslie, that's so sweet. I love that. Oh, I know. I just love animals. I can't do Norman Bates. I'm chicken. They had a really good show. I think it was on Netflix, but it was the newer version, right? And it was called Bates Motel. Really, really good. And it kind of got into the psychology of the, mother-son relationship with Norman and, Mom Bates. And I get more into that, than I do the gore and stuff. I like more of the, psychological thrillers and things like that. Well, yeah, it's super important. It's super important to, make sure kids um, can take care of themselves and feel confident and independent. Blessed says, guard your heart. Yes, blessed. And I agree. Guard your heart, guard your mind, because it really can. be affected by people who just want to spread their own crap and rhetoric. When you helicopter over your kids, you tell them they can't do anything on their own and ruin their self-esteem, in my opinion. Well said, Brenda. That's what I was trying to get at. Thank you. I agree. You know, yeah, it's just like if somebody's trying to learn to cut out a picture, right? And they're cutting it out and they're doing it wrong, and you just take it away and say, "No, I'll do it for you." Well, they didn't learn how to do it themselves, did they? That is so true, and it does ruin someone's self-esteem. It makes them think, "Well, I can't do anything." So the next time they need something cut out, they come over and they give it to you, right? Because they can't do it. And it does. It ruins their self-esteem. Well said. Thank you. All three of my kids joined the military and were furious that people older than them literally didn't know how to do anything, Denise. It does. I know. I feel that. Well, thank you for their service too. My daughter was the same way, when she started living with roommates, like, oh my gosh, mom, like in the college dorm, they get randomly assigned. She's like, this one person is so, dirty, mom. I don't know what to do. I don't like things dirty. And I'm like, I know, you're gonna have to. I'm sorry, but again, you learn to deal with conflict. You learned, I could have went down there and cleaned for her, or I could have went over there and told the kids, hey, you guys need to be clean in here. Mom's gonna come, whatever. And that's totally hovering and helicoptering. But instead, I was like, well, I know that you don't like it, and I know it's gonna be tough. You just got to figure out a solution. And one time it was like a dirty band-aid in the bathroom. She's freaking out. I'm like, you just got to, deal with it. But yeah, she's a good kid, and she was furious about, the mess. So me too, Gabby. I love animals, but not bugs. Hey, Karen Danielle, good to see you. Good to see you. Denise says I can't do horror movies. Oh, The Blob in 1959, blessed. That one is weird, right? That one is weird. Yeah, I liked both. I like both too. When you said money is all evil, it's true in my family. Having my sister to be an executor, it's a long story. Some people, please guard your hearts. Yeah, I know. Panda Bear's mom. I dealt with that when my dad passed in 2023. Um, People going over there just looking for money, and I wasn't one of them. And I extricated myself from that situation. you know, uh, it doesn't make a difference. I was glad to, we got his funeral arrangement set. So I'm so sorry, Panda. I know a little bit what you're going through. I've been working with a teen and her mother who was groomed, trafficked, but found in 10 days. And she has strict parents. And she said a call to anonymous, non-judgmental instead of peers would prevent it. Yeah, I agree with that, women's warrior. Hold on one second, please. Okay, guys. Okay, so sorry, guys. Just a little bit of housekeeping. That's that's why I can't do crap on myself. They had just take it in and complain when I do it. Me, ma. Aw. Well, and that's another thing. It's about like being patient with people until they understand it. Hey, Nani McPoppins, good to see you. Yes, no worries. I'm glad you're here. God, my house is so dirty since I've had COVID. Oh no, Leslie, I don't have the energy to clean and vacuum. It drives me nuts. Well, I know, and it is. I'm like that too. By the end of the week, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have all this stuff. I got to get all this. And I try to keep up with it during the week. It's tough, especially if you're not feeling well. I hope you feel better soon. That COVID really kicks people's butt. All right, guys, let me go ahead and play this next little clip here.
involved in that justice. We will be working very closely with them as we move through this process as well. This is a very sad day for our country, a terrible day for the state of Utah. But I'm grateful that at this moment we have an opportunity to bring closure to this very dark chapter in our nation.
Okay, guys, so that was the end of that. They're going to be, in pursuit of justice. Thank God. I hope it happens. Town chat, whenever people are moving, that's a big one. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. I was moving this time last year, getting prepared for it. And it's a lot. It is a lot. Let's see here. So we just did that little news clip. I wanted to share, okay, so yeah, Tyler Robinson. Let's see. Sorry, I saw Alec Murdaugh. I'm like, he's not trying to get a new thing, is he? All right, here we go. Let me do. No, I want to do Court TV because I know I usually share these before. Oh, sorry, hold on a second. Sorry, guys, that was loud. Calm down. It's just a little bit of thunderstorm. All right, guys. Let me see if I can do Adam. I thought it was Court TV. Yeah, there we go. Adam Montgomery. We're just going to kind of switch gears just a little bit here. Talk about an entitled jerk. All right. Appeal for a new court date is the one I wanted.
Can you go to first?
Bacon. Hold on a second. Django. It's just the thing. Okay, guys, there's that beautiful little girl. She is just a doll, right? And she's still missing out there, guys. Her dad refuses to tell where she is, but he wants a new trial, right? He's appealing. So let's get into this one.
In the spotlight this morning, convicted killer Adam Montgomery, who is one step closer to getting a new trial. The New Hampshire Supreme Court will hear arguments next month in Montgomery's request for a new murder trial. Montgomery.
Okay, guys, so he is requesting a new trial. Yes, he is, Nani. I know he is. He's like, what is that out there? I'm like, it's okay. It's just, he's so loud though, isn't she? Oh my gosh, Holly, wouldn't you just love to have her? I don't understand it. And I'm telling you, you would have to have punched me out to get to her. I just never would have let it happen. And I understand that Kayla was also being abused. I get it. But I mean, look at her. Oh my gosh. So this asshole was granted, a hearing in order to appeal and get a new trial moving, Just a little baby doll. Just a little baby doll.
Was convicted in the murder of his 5-year-old daughter, Harmony. He was sentenced to 56 years to life in prison. And earlier this year, his attorneys filed an appeal citing 3 errors. The court's failure to sever assault and murder charges, evidence of past abuse that was admitted, and Montgomery's interaction with police in 2021 that we.
Okay, so I just wanted to leave these up here for us to reference. But here's the thing. He was given that sentence, right? And he was also given the option to tell where Harmony's body was, and they were going to give him a lighter sentence, but he refused. Mr. Teardrop, Mr. Piggy Pig Pig Pig, Mr. Sue, you know. Denise says, Adam Montgomery, complete pig. Ew. I know. Look at him. He's so disgusting. He's disgusting. Nothing cute about this one. Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. And so, New Hampshire versus Montgomery, basis for appeal. They made 3 mistakes. Right? They made 3 mistakes here, unfortunately. And we'll, it remains to be seen, depending. So, well, let's look. So we got court's failure to sever assault and murder charges. Now, I don't know how it works in the common law up in New Hampshire, or excuse me, the Commonwealth, excuse me, up in New Hampshire on if these charges have to be severed and different, or if they can merge them together, right? But it's saying that the court failed to sever the assault and the murder charges, and this is the grounds for an appeal. That's number 1. Number 2 is evidence of past abuse that was admitted, right? So some other factors were considered by the jury, and that's the past abuse, right? And there was evidence of that. And so his lawyers are saying, no, that wasn't supposed to be admitted into evidence, and therefore he deserves a new trial because the first trial wasn't fair. Now, this is why we have to be so careful, and even going back to Sebastian Rogers' case. And I've said it before, and I hate to say it because, I just want justice. But in order for us to get proper justice and not have these assholes appeal the conviction, we have to do it right. We only get one chance to convince a jury, right? So I think about these things, and I think about how realistic we have to be. Brenda. We do. We do. Oh, thank you, Gina H, for the $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. Your little corgi's so cute. Boiled my blood. I don't know how he dare, or how he dares, or he should have been given the instant firing squad, in my opinion. I know. It's maddening. It's maddening. And he was smiling in the courtroom, sticking out his nasty old slithery tongue, like some of the reptiles we saw at the show yesterday. I mean, ridiculous. Denise says, no, 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 and no. He looks like an inmate. Yeah, that's him. He's actually wearing orange. I know they have him in it, like that's a black and white photo. But yeah, I mean, and what judge gives a child to that man with a teardrop tattoo? We all know what that means. We don't have to be affiliated with anything to know what that means. That means he killed someone, or he wants us to think he did. He's just trying to be a hard ass. What a soft little bitch, hitting a little girl like he did. Over and over and over again, repeatedly. I think I really hurt her this time. You think? You fucking ape? Ugh. Montgomery's interaction with police in 2021 that was shown to the jury was also taken into account in order to convict Adam Montgomery. And he's saying, oh, it wasn't fair. Oh, that's not fair for me. You know what's really not fair is that Harmony's little body is somewhere out there and she's never been properly laid to rest. You had a chance to get time off of your sentence, you piece of crap asshole. But instead, you chose to taunt her mother, to torture her mother, and searchers, and the police. You taunted the Manchester police and said that she'll never be found. You talked about how stupid they are. Well, look at you, you little jerk. Look at that. Yeah, he does look like Satan. Straight up. Straight up. Like, that guy has no remorse. It pisses me off too, Denise. How horrible. I mean, I could just go on and on, you know? And I feel bad, right, for the kids. I don't feel bad for this jerk. Not at all. I could care less about his feelings, and I know he doesn't even have any, you know? These are the people that we want to, if you want to rage out on somebody, rage out on Adam Montgomery, convicted child killer, murdered his own daughter by beating her to death. You want to hate someone? Hate this guy. Gosh, he's a perfect target, you know? Now, again, don't go and snipe out Adam Montgomery. We need justice served properly. But again, it does. That's one of the ones where I can say, okay, this makes me radical, right? I can be radicalized because of what he did to Harmony. She never deserved this, guys. She never deserved it. He does, Brenda. He's got tons of charges. Like there was an incident even that was, I don't believe it was admitted into court, or they probably be complaining about it here in this appeal, but where he also brutalized another woman, and it's all drug related with him. Totally drug related. I mean, Crystal, the reason why she didn't have Harmony was drug related, Thank you for the super sticker, Holly S. Thank you so much. Oh, Panda Bear's mom, welcome to the Dragon Tribe. Thank you so much, Panda Bear's mom. I'm so glad. Yay. I'm shocked he hasn't ended up in prison. Right, I know. I know. It is shocking. It is shocking. I know. I'll never get over it either, Nani. I mean, Nani says I'll never get over what he went on to do with her remains. And they just talked about it up on the stand like it was no biggie. Oh, they put her in a NutriBlender. They did this. Poor Harmony. Where's her justice? Because in my opinion, she still hasn't gotten the justice that she deserves, because she's still out there somewhere. And how you could ever, you monster father, be okay with that and be worried about yourself? This just goes to show these people have no remorse, no conscience.
Shown to the jury. Here's that video.
Your ex, Crystal, I did talk to her. She's like not mad at you. She's just kind of concerned. She hasn't seen her kid. So that's why the bells and whistles start going off and people fall off because of her. You know what I mean? So I don't know her that well. I know you better. I only met her once. So I don't know what type of woman, what kind of woman is she? She's crazy. When's the last time you had to talk to her? 2 years ago. 2 years ago? Yeah. What happened 2 years ago? You guys stopped talking? I don't even want to say nothing anymore, man. I really don't. Would you guys have like another blowout? No.
No, I went to Florida. I mean, on probation.
She wanted to see her kid. What's so bad about her that you don't want her to? I let her.
All right, guys. So he said, what happened? Did you guys have a blowout or what happened? And he said, she wanted to see her kid. Crystal Shorey wanted to see her daughter, Harmony, and Adam had all the control. So he keeps all the control, right? Oh, well, she just wanted to see her kid. Well, what's so bad about her? What's so bad, Adam? Yeah, I want to know too, because guess what? You're a drug addict too. So how dare you try to keep that child away from the mother, and damn the judge that put her with you. Let's hear this clown.
I let her see her. Oh, you did? Yeah. Like in person or like, yeah. Oh. And then it was just not a good visit? I get nothing else to say, John. Right? Well, hey, if she did something wrong, I want to know. I can't.
Yeah, see, and then he thinks it's cute. He thinks it's funny, right? Oh, the police want to talk to me. The police want to talk to me. They want information from me. He loves being the center of attention. Another malignant narcissist right here, Adam Montgomery, loving to be the center of attention, loving to have the upper hand over law enforcement. He loves it. He's literally getting off on it right now as we're watching this. He doesn't need to breathe there. Kentucky for life. Good to see you. I agree. I agree. He's taken up all of the good people's air. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, geez, Louise. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
We want to point out that jurors saw that video you just saw, but they saw it with no audio. So we're asking, does Adam Montgomery deserve a new trial?
I think a better question would be, why didn't the courts show it with the full context? Are you trying to give him a reason to appeal? Like, what is this? So they saw the video, right? But there was no audio. And this is the first time I remember listening to, well, no, actually, they did have the audio with it. They did. I'm sorry. I take that back. But the jury saw the video with no audio. So I just don't understand why they wouldn't give the full context. I guess I'm just confused about that. I think that's a better question.
Here to discuss, family law attorney Jennifer Brandt and criminal defense attorney David Bruno. David, I want to start with you. Does he have a chance at his appeal?
Ooh, I'm scratching my head on this one, on this conviction. But I'll tell you what, one of the most frequently issues that gets convictions reversed is this prior acts. That's really, I look at the three areas. He's arguing prejudice because of a lack of severance on the assault and the murder, the prior allegations of abuse, and the statement that kind of really may go into sort of that area. And that is where, as prosecutors, you really want to convict on the actual facts and allegations of the incident itself.
Okay, so I have to stop here, and I'm not a lawyer, guys. This is just me, speculating. I think there was tons of evidence, and how long was Kayla Montgomery up on the stand? Like 2 days, 3 days? I think there's tons of evidence, but what they're saying here is because there was not a severance of those charges that he very well could qualify for a new trial. Unfriggin' believable. Right, and this is David Bruno bio. He's the host of Nothing But the Truth radio show and podcast, former homicide prosecutor and certified criminal trial attorney by the by the New Jersey Supreme Court, right? So just to give you a little context for that. And this is full credit to Court TV.
Generally speaking, history is prohibited from coming in unless there's a very specific rule of evidence that allows it in.
Right. So if evidence can come in, but everything is stipulated pre-trial, right? The jury is selected, they do discovery, they say what's admissible, what's not, they figure that out first. So again, they're picking up loopholes, and his lawyers are not bad lawyers, guys. If it's the same lawyers that he had during his trial, they wanted to get him off completely for this. They wanted evil to reign supreme, in my opinion. Too many things are kept from jurors, in my opinion. Give them all the facts and let them decide. Brenda, I agree. But I mean, there's tons of evidence against this jackass, in my opinion. I don't know how many other tattoos he's got. Kentucky for life.
And usually
he's got he's got two on his neck. Sorry, he's got one on either side of his neck. I believe, I'd have to double check.
404B that we use throughout all of these states. And if there's
there's a bunch of tattoos too on his upper arm, forearm. He thinks he's hot to trot.
Relevance that is needed, probative evidence.
And then, guys, I just want to point out in the background, too, this gal right here, that was the girlfriend that he was, doing drugs and living in his car with at this time, when he was pulled over this time, right? What a piece of trash. What a piece of trash. Sorry, let me just back that up a little bit because I know I'm talking too much.
That is needed, probative evidence, lack of mistake, it goes to purpose. There's a pattern, things like that gets decided before the trial.
And I just said that, so I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but I do try to pay attention to the goings on. So yeah, this was all pre-decided, right? With the jury and all.
Then it gets allowed for those particular reasons. So when I look at this appeal, I see sort of that thread going through all three about prior abuses and prejudice that the defendant is arguing. But just because they accept this appeal doesn't mean it is getting reversed either.
Thank God for that. So just because they accept the appeal doesn't mean that it will get reversed. But he wants the good people of Manchester, the good people of New Hampshire to pay for another trial for his nasty, sorry ass. If I lived there, I would be protesting the shit out of this. Why in the world are they allowing for him to eat up all of their money when their CPS sucks ass? That's my question.
Which is a worthy point to make.
Yeah, absolutely. Jennifer, so in that situation, as David was describing it, so you could see how jurors might take a look at past abuse that he did on his beautiful little daughter, Harmony, and then say, yeah, you know what, he killed her.
Yeah, and I mean, this was tough because I don't think her body was ever found, so we really don't have that evidence of her.
Reality check, her body's never been found.
Death and how it was caused, but there was a lot of other evidence that were brought into the case. You're dealing with a beautiful child. So I think it's a really tough one. I'm not.
Look how precious she is. Precious.
Not so sure he's going to get a new trial based on all the facts that came in during his first trial.
Now
all right, so this expert thinks that he's not going to get a new trial.
Attorney said his estranged wife, Kayla, should not have been allowed to testify about Harmony's abuse. Let's go ahead and listen to some of what she had to say while she was on the stand.
Guys, this is a major trigger warning right here, right? And just to give you guys a little bit of background before you feel bad for Kayla, Kayla is a hardcore drug addict who was on the streets with Adam, living in the car with her other two babies, and they witnessed their sister, little Harmony, beat to death in the back seat of the vehicle where they lived because she used the bathroom on herself because they didn't have a bathroom in the car. And they were too busy getting their fix at the clinic that morning to worry about if the kids had to use the bathroom. Despicable. Kayla Montgomery was brought in on charges of stealing money from Harmony even after she knew that this baby had been beaten to death in front of her. But she was fine with collecting money off of Harmony's back. Disgusting. So please don't feel sorry for this Kayla Montgomery. She's a real shithead.
Did you see him put Harmony in that duffel bag?
Yes.
How did he put her in there, Kayla?
He folded her in half and put her in the double bag.
And this was just another one of the trials here that we cover at Court TV that was so hard to watch and listen to the.
And she still won't tell. I think Kayla knows what happened to Harmony. I think she might know where he put her. She maintains he took her somewhere. I don't know where he put her, right? But I don't believe her. I do not believe her. What a dirtbag. Folded her in half and then she covers her eyes. Well, you were there, Kayla.
Testimony of how this little girl was treated. David, What'd you think of her testimony? I mean, she was quite emotional on the stand, obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah, very emotional. You know, prosecutors have to bring the witnesses that have the personal knowledge. And unfortunately, they don't get to pick their witnesses. They don't get to pick the spouse of a defendant on a child abuse case. Let's not forget, Adam did not even appear at trial. I mean, you could imagine what the
boom. He did not appear at trial. He did not appear, guys. That shows how much he gives a crap. He don't give a rat's ass about nobody but himself. Malignant narcissist to the max. And then watch his demeanor.
jury thinks about that. He wasn't in court for the testimony. He wasn't in court there. He was still in his jail cell when they were brought over, something that we were all talking about when we were watching that. But again, this 404B evidence for prosecutors is dangerous. And really, as prosecutors, and I've dealt with this before, do you need it? Do you really?
Look at that big old nasty pimple on his head. Blech.
You need to bring in the prior acts to support your allegations, because certainly this is a very, very dangerous area when it comes to appeal, when appellate courts are looking at this and they're asking the same question. Was it needed? Did it override the prejudice that it brought to the case?
I think an even better question would be, did the judge that gave Mr. Face Tattoo, Mr. Teardrop, custody over Harmony Montgomery know about the prior abuse? Did he just get up there and with a stroke of a pen seal her fate with an animal?
Now, police body camera footage shown to jurors violated his right to remain silent. That's what he's arguing. Why don't we go ahead and listen to a little bit more of that? And Jennifer, I'll talk with you about it on the other side.
You're not in trouble. Nobody said you were losing your daughter. Right? So I want to make that clear. So, I have my body tomorrow, just like everybody else is getting on here. So you just need to find out where she is. That's all I'm concerned about. I mean, you're not in any trouble right now.
Look, they're telling him, you're not in trouble. We just want to find out where Harmony is. Just let us know where she is, right? Just tell us. That's all we need to know. That's all we need to know. Brenda Calvert says too many things are kept from the jurors, in my opinion. Give them all the facts and let them decide. Sorry, guys. I think I read that one earlier. But again, it rings true. It rings true. Let them know everything. Let the judge know everything. How can they make a good decision without knowing the facts? Right? Hey, Falcor's dad. Good to see you. She knows something. OMG has to know, right? She has to know, Sandy. You know? Yeah. They've paid into this nonsense. When really what they should be paying for is probably a firing squad, in my opinion. I don't know how they do things in the Commonwealth.
Now that I know of, okay, you know what. So, where's your daughter so we can check on her and make sure that she's okay? But that's not.
Right now, I have nothing to say to you guys. Adam Montgomery, coward.
I'm just asking.
Right? He has nothing to say. Why? Because he knows at this point that he beat her to death already. Hey, Ann Brock. Beautiful little Harmony. Disgusting.
So you don't care if you.
So you don't care how, if your daughter is okay or not? Ask the police officer.
I do. I have nothing.
I do. Listen, I have nothing to say. I do. Listen, I have nothing to say. What a dirtbag. Sorry, guys. Here, I'll redo that.
So you don't care if your daughter's okay. I do. I listen. I have nothing to say.
And Jennifer kept saying, "I have nothing to say."
Yeah. So what? The jury really needs to hear that. You being indignant with the police officer. You playing games with. You think you're gonna fare better this time? I don't think so. me says, I'm not drunk texting, I swear. Exactly. Sandwich says, I struggle with the thought of her knowing she would have broken and told where she was. And I don't understand why nobody did. You know, if you have enough wherewithal and you have enough of a conscience to sit there and cry like a baby, who are you really crying for, Kayla? Who are you crying for? Yourself? Your freedom? Or is it Harmony? Because I doubt it's Harmony because you done stole her money after she was wherever he put her. Poor baby.
Right. So, I mean, he didn't confess anything. He didn't say anything about the crime. He just said he had nothing to say. So I don't see how he's arguing that, that was violating his rights. He
Boom.
was clearly not going to talk until he got a lawyer or until, there was some further questioning. So I'm not so sure how this is.
I think her audio was a little jacked up there. But, at the end of the day, guys, this beautiful little girl, her rights were violated by this monster. You want to talk about somebody's rights being violated? What a little shithead. Ugh, it's just infuriating. Here's Kayla, right? It's an hour and 25 minutes, guys. We could deep dive into Harmony's case all day. I have old correspondence from Facebook, right? Where he's telling Crystal, sorry, we're going to be together until the wheels fall off, That was their thing together. Till the wheels fall off or you kill our child. What a psycho. A total psycho. And this is the guy that took the life of Charlie Kirk here, right? So, I mean, and that's just part one of Kayla. His uncle talks about how he bashed Harmony around the house. Bashed her around the house. What a piece of crap. And he wants justice? I think not. Oh, yes. Oh, definitely. Harmony's story reminds me so much of Oren and Orson. Yes. They were uprooted and fed to monsters. I mean, absolutely horrible story. Cal City, right? Yeah. Horrible. Yeah, they do. Yes, courts need to have the balls to get the answers like Idaho did too. I agree. I mean, I really think that they never should have done a plea deal. And I know why they do them. I know we all have like a good understanding of it, but it's maddening when we see the injustice that comes along with it, because it doesn't help the victims. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. So I don't know. I'm hoping that they throw it out, the appeal. I just don't see how they could ever allow for what happened to Harmony and him to think that he's going to skate off scot-free. I mean, look at her. Look at this beautiful little girl, guys. It's absolutely awful. Like, look, she's so innocent. She doesn't deserve any of this. She never deserved any of it. And her daddy did that to her. Oh, Anne Brock, I'm so sorry to hear that. Aw. And you're okay? You're in remission now? But yeah, guys, I mean, how could he do it? What a monster. And then for the stepmother to be okay with it, you'd have had to go through me first. It would have been a bad deal. I'm sure people would have called. That's another thing. She could have screamed. She could have yelled. She could have said, my little stepdaughter is being hurt right now. Anything. She could have left them in the middle of the night, but she was too high off her own ass to make a better decision, in my opinion. That doesn't mean that she gets to skate by like that. And I can't give her a free pass. I won't give her a free pass. It's just not right. So, but anyway, guys, I'm going to have to get off of here and, get some of the stuff in order, get some grocery shopping done and all that good stuff. But I did want to pop on here with the update. I'm so glad that they were able to apprehend Charlie Kirk's shooter. Also, I was glad to come up here and give you an update in the, crap that Adam Montgomery is trying to pull. And we'll definitely be following that as well. I hope you guys have the best Friday. Please go over and join the conversation at Voices of Truth. Let me go ahead and grab the link again for the discussion tonight about Sebastian Rogers. The title is going to be something really clever, which I love, and it's called Hoodie Season is in this live stream. So, and if you haven't had a chance to go over, guys, and check out Seth's merch, right, that he has for Sebastian, please do. He's got some really awesome ways to spread awareness for Sebastian, right? Really, really awesome. There's t-shirts, hoodies, a windbreaker, a bag, like a little travel bag, just awesome ways to promote Sebastian being missing. And what I'm going to do here is grab Seth's link and drop it too. So feel free to go over there and check out the store where Seth has all of the merch, right? Oh, I will be Mima too. I hope that's a good link. Hopefully that's not the bad link, right? And then I'll also go to Seth's page and share from there as well. And then hopefully I can get a video up tonight, guys, too. I'm going to try and get another video out in order for us to, keep spreading awareness too. Because I've noticed that there's some new people on the case, and I think that's great. But I also think that we need to make sure that people are kind of, aware of everything that's been out there, because there's so much stuff out there. This is, it's to the point where we really need to make sure that people are understanding of what all has gone on in the case, because it's been a doozy. It really has. It's been a doozy of a case. And we just really, really need to figure out what happened to Sebastian. I think it's very apparent to most of us. So yeah, it's gonna make you mad. See us at 8. Wear your green hoodies. Yes, Mimi Ma, see you there. And I'll just have to repost it again, guys. But all right, I love you all so very, very much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will see you over at Hindsight's because it's definitely hoodie weather. All right, love you all. Have a great rest of your day. Spread love, not hate, guys. Spread love, not hate.